Hey, what's up, guys? And what's up, Sussex Squad? Sit down. Let's talk about what's going on with Kate. Now, if you guys don't know, first of all, can we just say shout out to the Spanish media for exposing every single thing Kensington Palace has said as being false? Now, listen, I know some of you guys might be skeptical, but there's been new footage that surfaced on another content creator's page. I'll put the link down below where he literally stands outside the hospital and shows that after they sent out Kate's people, after Kate was leaving the hospital, she was never in any of the cars that the media saw. There were MI6 Secret Service people on the side, and they were moving. Okay, they were moving. It looks like maybe Kate in a giant van. Now, why is it a giant van? Well, if somebody is in a coma and they are on a ventilator, there's a lot of medical equipment that needs to be moved. Again, we have to put this in context because it's very important. Okay. When the Spanish media reported that Kate was in a coma the very next day, okay, they released something, the Kensington Palace released something saying, oh, guess what? Kate's finally going home to her kids. And we were like, okay, all right, don't believe you, but sure. Another Spanish paparazzi literally outside of the hospital showed what looked to be a huge van, the size of an ambulance, but it wasn't painted as an ambulance. Also, with Secret Service leaving the hospital around the time that Kate was supposed to be released. Now, people are surmising that Kate was in the van. People are also surmising that the Spanish media caught that van leaving. Again, this puts fuel to the fire that Kate is in a coma. At the very least, the reason we did not see Kate leave the hospital is because Kate is not even conscious. Now, here's the one thing I do want to say. A lot of people think, oh my God, it's only the Spanish media. But first of all, this has Camilla and Charles's fingerprints all over this, all over. Why is that? For two different reasons. For one, we cannot deny one thing. The palace is pushed back very, very hard that Kate is not in a coma. Coincidentally, the same day the video dropped that the Spanish journalist standing outside of that hospital Kate was in leaked the fact that a huge van the size of an ambulance left. Again, the link is going to be in my description box. Please watch it when you're done. Let's give content creators their views instead of just stealing their footage. Let's give content creator their views. But also you can just put on closed captions and put on auto translate in the closed caption and in the settings. So you'll see the subtitles that are in English because he's speaking in Spanish. But I think it's very important to notice that the palace has pushed back on this. Okay. But we need to know, if we are looking at this, that the palace that pushed back on this is Kensington Palace. People are now saying that Buckingham Palace, Camilla and Charles are the ones that are queuing up the Spanish tabloids and leaking information to them. Okay. Now, before you say, oh my God, what's the odds of that happening? Because for some reason, people think that the Spanish royal reporters don't have an in into Kensington Palace. And they would be right, except for one thing, right? Kensington Palace is not the English palace that might have given the information. People are saying it's like a Buckingham Palace because consider this. Charles is very, very close to the Spanish royals. He often visited them multiple times when the kids were little and with Diana. Okay. The chances that someone in the Buckingham Palace circle knows the most prominent Spanish royal reporter is not an impossible situation. Camilla is also super, super tight with all tabloids. I think across boundaries, but she's super tight with all tabloids. Now, when you put all that together, what does that tell you? The fact that British press is trying to discount the most prominent Spanish royal reporter that has written books about Camilla, about the Queen Mother, about Diana. You guys, I think the Spanish tabloids also, I know this Spanish royal reporter is standing outside the hospital and he's like, come here, let me show you something. And that's great. And I'm not saying he didn't figure it out himself. I am saying that what are the odds that royal reporters that Charles and Camilla are very, very close to all of a sudden know where to look around the corner. They know to be looking. Oh, look, they're on the thing. They saw the whole thing. And again, this looks like this was Kate taken to a different location. It might have been also because news of her being in a coma broke. Now, I'll just put it out there, okay? I think that Kate is not conscious. I think that she is in a coma. I do believe what the Spanish royal reporters, the highest ranking Spanish royal reporters, are saying. And they stand behind this. I do believe that Kensington Palace is nothing but lies. When William had corona, they lied. When William and Kate were arguing, they lied. They lie for a living, in my opinion. So I wouldn't take anything they say as true. I think anybody with a brain in their head can actually say that there is something going on with Kate. And the fact that the palace can push back on all this stuff, but they can't offer proof of life. So you know what? Let's get into what the palace has pushed back with. And let's also just point out what actually could be going on. Hold on, let me turn this off, guys. Hold on, guys, really quick. Now, before we get into this, let's point out what Royally Shady on Twitter pointed out. That actually is a good point. Why did it take Kensington Palace 5 days for Kensington Palace to dispel the rumor of Kate being in a coma? And most importantly, where is the threat of legal action that they love to say? Remember when they threatened to actually sue a plastic surgery clinic because they said that Kate had Botox, even though we all knew that Kate looked surprised, scared, sad, and depressed all at the same time whenever she gets fresh Botox? Kate was outed as a royal racist, and it took 5 seconds for the palace to say they're considering legal action. However, they refused to take any action against the Spanish tabloids for printing in all their major newspapers that Kate is in a coma. Consider that as well. Now, the actual pushback is very, very interesting because they also refuse to say that Kate's going to make a full recovery. They refuse to even say what's going on. The one thing they will actually say is that Kate might move to her parents' house. Kate, the woman that William is waiting hand and foot on, the woman that William is using as an excuse not to do any work, she's now going to be at their parents' house with the kids. Y'all, tell me this don't sound like William did something to Kate. Now, I don't know what exactly happened, but tell me that doesn't sound right. Anyway, they said palace officials are said to have been left furious after Spanish news shows made up claims that Kate was in a coma and in great danger following her abdominal surgery. Again, they refused to tell us, a public servant. They wanted to know what Meghan's uterus looked like. We're not even asking for her personal information. We're just asking to see her face to make sure this woman is okay. Regardless of how I feel about the royal family, okay? I'm not going to go as far as to say I wish people well, but I will say I want to see proof of life. I want to make sure that she is okay. I want to make sure that the bone is not broken in her face. Honestly, as a human being, where is this woman? Okay? They're saying that, again, they made up claims. So where's the legal action? Again, the Spanish royal reporter is super, super close with Buckingham Palace. They call her out. Concha Caella claimed doctors. The fact that they said overseas journalist Concha Caella. So already they're triggering that national racism because really overseas, just say, anyway. Claimed doctors, instead of saying that she is the #1 Spanish royal reporter that has a very close relationship with Buckingham Palace. Claimed doctors had to act quickly as they were saving Kate's life in a broadcast the day before she was released from the hospital. The writer, 59, appeared on Spanish TV as a royal expert and said the medical team's drastic actions included intubating, that is giving her a feeding tube and putting her in a coma, whatchamacallit. They said there were serious complications they didn't expect because the operation went well, but the post-operative period didn't go so well. Again, what does she have an operation on? They continued that Kate's recovery was possibly going to require a bit of assistance. And I'm not just referring to her family. This is what the Spanish royal reporter said. Practically an entire hospital was being set up to support her at their Windsor home. But the Spaniards' claims made on news channels have been rubbished by the palace, saying it's total nonsense. No attempt was made by that journalist to fact check anything that she said with anyone in the household. It's fundamentally totally made up, and I use this polite English term. It's absolutely not the case. But again, do you see the words that they're using? No attempt was made by the journalist to fact check. Why would that be important? And also saying it's fundamentally made up, but is it false? I know you can say made up, but is it false? And I know you guys might be rolling your eyes, but there is a real difference between whether something is completely made up and something is false. You can make up something and it not be false. And you could say the person's making it up because how would you know? But that doesn't mean that their guess wasn't right. Again, I do think that Kensington Palace is pushing back. I think Kensington Palace is calling them a liar. I do think that in these last 3 years, Kensington Palace, more than any other palace, has been pointed to be the biggest liars of all. I believe that Buckingham Palace is leaking. I believe that Camilla is behind it. I believe Charles too. I believe they don't give a F about Kate. And I do believe that if they truly wanted to put an end to these things, that Kate is not sick, that Kate is fine, because then they would trot Kate out on a pre-recorded message and say that. Because let's just not forget, there were even rumors about what was going on with the Queen. The Kensington Palace did not shut down. All I'm saying is where there is smoke, there is fire. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to you guys later. And this is going to be a heavy Sussex upload day. So if you are in the royal news, we got 3 more babies coming. All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye.